Have you ever noticed something weird? You can survive explosions in movies, gunshots, screaming, car crashes. But complete silence? Most people can't handle it for more than a few minutes. In fact, in the quietest room on Earth, people start hallucinating. They hear voices, see things. Some even panic and run out. Which raises a terrifying question. Why does silence scare the most intelligent species on this planet? Here's the weird part. Silence itself cannot hurt you. It has no teeth, no claws, no poison, and yet people sleep with TVs on, music on, fans running, podcasts playing. Some people literally need background noise just to exist with their own thoughts. That's not normal behavior. Imagine another animal doing this. A deer in the forest going, "Bro, I can't sleep unless I hear lo-fi beats." Ridiculous. So why do humans hate silence so much? The answer starts with a very old survival system. One your brain still hasn't upgraded. For most of human history, silence was bad news. Very bad news. Because nature is never truly quiet. Forests make sounds, wind makes sounds, animals make sounds. So when everything suddenly went silent, your ancestors paid attention. Because usually something nearby was hunting. If birds suddenly stop chirping, if insects stop buzzing, your brain immediately goes, "Oh great, something is probably trying to kill us." And honestly, that reaction kept humans alive for thousands of years. Your brain is basically an overprotective bodyguard with severe anxiety issues. The problem is, your brain never evolved for the modern world. Today, humans are surrounded by noise all the time. Traffic, notifications, videos, music, conversations, ads. Your brain never gets a break. And because of that, silence now feels unnatural, like something is missing. Like when your internet suddenly disconnects and you become painfully aware of your own breathing, which is somehow terrifying. But external silence isn't actually the real problem. Internal silence is. Because when the noise disappears, something else gets louder. Your thoughts. And this is where things get uncomfortable. Most people are constantly distracting themselves. Not because they're entertained, but because they're avoiding something. Regret, anxiety, loneliness, fear, embarrassing memories from 7 years ago that randomly attack at 2 in the morning. Your brain stores unfinished emotions like open browser tabs, and silence opens all of them at once. Humans are prediction machines. Your brain constantly scans for patterns, sounds, movement, threats. And when there's no information, your brain starts creating its own. That's why people hear things in silence. Not because they're haunted. Usually, your brain simply hates uncertainty. In experiments, people left alone in silent rooms started imagining sounds that weren't there. Some heard whispers, music, footsteps, because the human brain would rather invent danger than risk missing real danger. Evolution basically said, false alarms are annoying. Getting eaten is worse. There's actually a room designed to absorb almost all sound. Inside that room, people can hear their heartbeat, their breathing, even their stomach moving. Some become uncomfortable within minutes. Others panic completely. Because without external sound, your brain turns inward, completely inward. And humans were never designed to fully confront themselves for long periods of time. Honestly, your brain is less like a peaceful monk and more like a raccoon digging through emotional trash at midnight. Now here's the uncomfortable truth. A lot of people aren't afraid of silence. They're afraid of what silence reveals. Because when everything becomes quiet, you finally hear yourself clearly. And sometimes, people don't like what they hear. That's why humans fill their lives with constant stimulation. Not always for pleasure. Sometimes for escape. And the scary part? Most people don't even realize they're doing it. They think, I'm just bored. But boredom is often just the first layer. Underneath it is anxiety. Under that, fear. And under that, questions people spend their entire lives avoiding. But silence isn't just terrifying. It's also powerful. Because the same silence that exposes fear can also expose truth. Think about your best ideas. They rarely happen while scrolling social media at maximum speed. They happen in showers, late at night, walking alone, sitting quietly. That's because silence forces your brain to process things deeply. And modern humans almost never allow that anymore. We consume information every second, but rarely sit still long enough to understand ourselves. Which is ironic, because humans conquered oceans, built cities, invented artificial intelligence. Yet many of us still panic when left alone with our own minds for 10 minutes. So here's the paradox. Humans fear silence because silence removes distraction. And without distraction, reality becomes harder to avoid. Your fears become clearer. Your thoughts become louder. Your identity becomes visible. Silence acts like a mirror, and mirrors can be uncomfortable, but they also tell the truth. Maybe that's why silence feels so powerful. Because deep down, your brain knows something important happens there. The terrifying thing about silence isn't that you hear nothing. It's that, for the first time in a long time, you finally hear yourself.